Hello and welcome to a new edition of Design for the Times. I'm your host. My name is Richard Christopher Scuderi. I've been a realtor, a home decorator, a stager, and an interior designer for the past 20 years. And through those years, I've developed relationships with wonderful people in the tri-state area that have helped me with my journey in interior design. One of those guests happens to be with us today. His name is Bruce Brodak, and he is the owner of Flemington Fan and Lighting in Ringoes, New Jersey. Welcome, Bruce.
Hello, Richard.
Nice to see you again.
And nice to be here.
It's terrific. And today's topic happens to be lighting. Our shows are going to be topic-centric, and each time I meet you here in studio, we'll be bringing up a different topic. Our topic today happens to be lighting and the importance of lighting. And before we get into your background, I want to bring up something that you had just said to me, Bruce, that I thought was quite interesting, is that people are seeming to now embrace the importance of lighting. You're finding that?
I do. I find that the interest level and the exposure that people are getting has created not only a more educated consumer, but a consumer that is looking to use lighting and its effects to the fullest.
Sure. You know, very early on in my career, I don't know if you're familiar with it, and I think it's still there on Davidson Avenue in Somerset. Philips, the big lighting company, has a big location there, and they do a lighting seminar where you can actually learn about lighting. And it's so incredible. And part of the seminar, they took the group, a good-looking group of people, and they put different light on them, and some of the light made people look horrendous that were good-looking people.
Right.
So it is just as important for me as an interior designer to place beautiful objects in colors in the room as it is for you, a lighting expert, to be able to go ahead and illuminate that in a way that's going to make it, first of all, not look, well, make it not look terrible,
exactly.
but also make it look as good as it possibly can.
Absolutely.
So, for example, here we are in studio. One of the things that Bruce had said to me when we were just about to go on is, boy, there's a lot of hot lights here. And that is very truthful about lighting. Sometimes it's compensation. Sometimes it's balance. If we were to do true lighting in here that would accommodate us, it would be too dark to read. And I think that's how lighting works.
It is. Absolutely.
Let's talk about your start. Where did you get started in? What did you study? Often people say don't take your major seriously. How did it wind up that you got involved in lighting?
I was a teacher. Mm-hmm. I was a mathematics teacher, and through the years, I had gotten interested in ceiling fans.
Okay.
Remarkably so. And at that particular time, ceiling fans were relatively new, uncharted territory.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that not only did they save money and made people more comfortable, but they made people aware of energy conservation.
Sure.
You can cut your air conditioning costs in half utilizing fans, and your heating costs dramatically also.
Right.
That's how I got my start, and then we morphed into lighting about 10 years down the road.
When would you say early on that people started to embrace ceiling fans? Was it the early 80s or was it before that?
Well, down south they were utilized forever.
Oh, sure. Right.
It was standard. People needed them.
Sure.
Because of the lack of air conditioning.
Sure.
And people thought, well, once air conditioning was being utilized, you no longer needed ceiling fans. However, ceiling fans are costly to run, and people started to use the fans to supplement their air conditioning.
Sure.
And in the 80s, there was a tremendous energy crisis, and people utilized fans more and more and more. And once they were made aware of it, it became almost an essential.
So my first recollection of starting to have fans be popular generically was the early 80s.
The early 80s, correct.
And the original fans weren't too good, were they? They were a little bit loud. The lighting on them was terrible. Fans have evolved into things that are absolutely beautiful now.
Dramatic, yes. Dramatic changes in decor of ceiling fans. Mm-hmm. They're now focal points in rooms
Right.
And they come in various finishes and various sizes and various blade finishes. And
Sure.
people have made them a focal point of their rooms.
Sure, especially in a more contemporary setting, or other settings, but more contemporary setting,
Right.
they could be quite striking.
Right.
So let's see how this evolved, though, in your life, Bruce. So you
Sure.
started to get interested in fans. You thought it was something that was going to do well, and in fact, you're very wise because it did evolve and so on. What did that go from you to say, okay, I think lighting fans is something that is really going to be popular. It's a good thing for me to go into, to you opening your first store. And where did you open your first store?
My first store was in Flemington, New Jersey, oddly
Okay.
enough. And we started selling fans commercially.
Okay. So you're selling them to builders? Or?
Selling them, no, not to builders, but to stores,
Okay.
factories,
Wow.
distribution centers. One of my first clients was Johnson & Johnson, as a matter of fact.
Wow, so you were doing big volume.
Big volume at that particular time. And
Just
then
fans, not lighting yet at this point.
no lighting at all, just
Okay.
ceiling fans, heat reclamation fans. They had situations where there was a tremendous amount of heat loss. And what the ceiling fans do is they dehumidify the air, not dehumidify, they destratify the air, excuse me.
Sure.
And they make the temperature from ceiling to floor exactly the same or within a degree of each other.
Right.
Where before, it was 40, 50 degrees warmer at the ceiling, and that would filter through the ceiling,
Sure.
and there'd be a tremendous loss of
money,
money,
right.
and people at the floor would be cold.
Exactly.
Fans eliminated that, and that's how I got my start.
So you started in Flemington,
Started in Flemington,
just with a fan store.
just ceiling fans. We were
And then-
fanfare.
And then how did that evolve? Didn't you eventually get into lighting? How did it go that you got into lighting?
Well, fans then became a decorative accessory, and companies started to put lighting on ceiling fans.
Okay. I want to bring up a point, though. Initially, and for a long time, actually, Bruce, a fan did what it was supposed to do. It had a blade that went around and it circulated the air, and you went one way if you wanted the cool air to come down towards you. You went the opposite direction if you wanted the warm air to go up, and so on. That's why some of them had winter and summer settings. And we'll talk about that further. But the early lights were sort of like bells, if you will, that were on the bottom of the fan.
Correct.
And my issue with them, before we had light kits that were encased, is that was terrible lighting, wasn't it?
It was not good lighting, but it was lighting.
Right.
So you had the offshoot of lighting and a fan.
Right. In
So you
one
had
spot.
comfort and light, and that's. I mean, at that particular point, there were just lights in the middle of a room, and
Right.
they were either circular or round, and they weren't much of a decorative accessory. They were just
were
they
there.
just provided light.
Utility, right.
Yeah, and it was not the perfect amount of light nor the right light,
Right.
but it was still it was light. You can walk into a room and not trip.
But with the early light kits, they were sort of these offshoots that sort of came off the bottom of the light. And my
Correct.
issue is that the movement of the fan interrupted the light, if you will, or created shadows. So when you looked at that light, it was very obtrusive in your eyes.
Depends upon the light kit. I understand what you're saying. And there were certain light kits, especially the ones where the light bulb was ensconced in the actual light.
Yeah.
They were like spotlights.
Exactly.
And you would get almost pot lights throughout the room.
Yeah.
Not even light.
No, there was not a good distribution of light. And then
No.
and then the movement of the fan affected how you looked at the light, I think.
Correct.
When did we start getting light kits that were sort of enclosed and a more, just sort of a better use of the light on the bottom?
Fans became more a decorative commodity, probably mid 80s,
Okay.
90s, and today they're even evolving even more.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I
big time.
wouldn't live or stay in a place that didn't have a ceiling fan in the bedroom. I think the comfort
They make-
level.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, people are putting them in every room, and the important thing is, as we've discussed in the past, is the performance factor of the fans. I mean, all fans are not created equal.
Equal, sure.
So when someone buys a fan is not a fan is not a fan.
Right.
Okay, there's different attributes that fans have. A lot of fans you don't want because they're not going to provide the the amount of air that you expect.
Uh-huh.
They're going to make noise and they're going to wobble even today. I mean, there's a lot of factors to consider when you buy a ceiling fan.
So you're fan-centric now, if I could say, and then all of a sudden you branched out into the lighting. What was the impetus to branch out into lighting?
Diversification.
Okay.
I grew an interest in lighting, the decorative capacity. We just expanded what we had in the store, and we became more of a lighting and fan distribution center as opposed to just one product, fans.
Then I think you did something as you evolved, because you've been in the Flemington area for these 30 years or so. Then you had two different stores. Didn't you say that you opened up a separate just lighting store? So how did that evolve from that first location?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
We had multiple stores, Rich. We had fan stores throughout New Jersey. We had 7 fan stores.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Wow.
Oh yeah, we had one in Lawrenceville and Flemington and
Wow.
East Brunswick. We had stores in.
And they were all called Fanfare?
They were Fanfare, yes.
Wow.
They were Fanfare. I purchased a lighting company back in the middle to late 90s in Flemington called Mr. Light.
Okay.
And then we called that Light Fair.
Oh, okay.
And that was my introduction into lighting.
So you had a separate lighting store then?
We sold fans in the store,
oh,
but it was a lighting
primarily
store.
a lighting store.
Right, right.
So then how did that evolve into the lighting portion of your business, which I think is so critical?
Yes. We grew more aware of the need for lighting.
And good lighting, right?
And good lighting. Fans, as you know, they're not. It's not. People think of it as a seasonal thing.
Sure.
In the past and today, people use them year round for heat
Right.
and for air conditioning.
Right.
But we wanted to get the cyclic capacity of just ceiling fans out of the way. That's one of the reasons we went into lighting.
Sure. And I think that lighting itself has just gotten so beautiful. You know, I say since 2000 or so, in the last 17 years, a lot of things haven't gotten better, but lighting is clearly one of them that has gotten better. Much more interesting shapes and styles. And I think people, as you said, and we said it earlier in the broadcast, are becoming much more aware of lighting. Lighting as fashion, but also the functionality of lighting and putting lighting in task areas, such as in kitchens and workspaces and
Correct.
so on. But I want to evolve with your story because I find it very interesting how you sort of transition to lighting and now you sort of do both together. So tell us where Flemington Fan Lighting is located now.
We are located on Route 202-31 in Ringgoes, New Jersey, which is adjacent to Flemington.
Flemington, right.
Diagonally across from the inspection station, the New Jersey inspection station, and next to Beans Toyota.
Right, right.
Very convenient in the Hunter and Common Shopping Center.
Very good. And then a big store there, like 6,000 square feet.
We have about 6,000 square feet of lighting and fans and mirrors and accessories, as you know.
Amazing. Now, let's talk about something that I think that you do so well. I think you're very astute, Bruce. And one of the things that you did so well, as times changed and retail changed, and the inception of the internet and people embracing the internet for shopping, did you initially see that people were, in general, not physically shopping as much, going online?
Well, I recognized that there was going to be a significant impact on brick and mortar establishments with the internet. And what I thought from the start was that service is every bit as important as price.
Oh, sure.
So what we did is we melded price with service. So we meet internet prices and we provide the most important commodity, service.
Exactly,
I mean,
which doesn't really exist anymore.
When somebody buys something online, they're not getting any of that.
No.
No one is telling them what not to buy.
Right.
No one is talking about size, projection,
proportion,
lumens,
actual true colors of finish, all those things.
The integrity of the product they're buying.
Exactly.
You're buying a picture, and if you're not aware of really what's behind the photograph, you have no idea of how to spend your money. It's about value. It's not how much you spend, it's what you get for what you spend.
Well, you know, I could see somebody going to the internet, maybe you want to buy a shirt, you know what your Ralph Lauren
Yep.
shirt looks like, and so on. You know what your size is. You go on, you click green, you pick your color size, and it comes. But lighting really needs instructions. Lighting is too complicated and too critical, I think, just to click, click, click.
Right.
Now, I do know you have a wonderful website. Now, what is the website?
The website is flemingtonlighting.com.
Okay.
And basically, Rich, as you know, all websites are primarily the same. They use the same pictures from the same manufacturers.
Sure.
And it's just an assortment. It's like looking for Jones in the Yellow Pages in the United States.
Right.
I mean, there's a few of them around.
Right.
So
No.
people are spending hours trying to navigate the many choices that they have. And once somebody realizes that they can get help and guidance, and they could find out exactly what they're looking for with some professional help, it becomes an easier process in the
Sure.
selection of lighting.
So, but for our viewers here, you can go to your website. You can do all the
Yes.
shopping on the internet if you like.
Absolutely.
In addition, you have a wonderful space, 6,000 square feet, where they can come in and they're really going to get educated on fans. It's not going to cost them anything to come in. And in fact, what you're doing is you're matching the internet price. So regardless of coming in or not, you're getting the internet price and you're getting the service.
For sure.
So what's better than that? You know, the biggest complaints that most people tell me is they'll go into the major name department stores and service is gone. Just gone. You want to try something on, you want something in a different color, you want to have something shipped somewhere, you have to go look for someone. To come into an environment in 2017 and have somebody that's going to, in a very kind way, be there to help you and have the education, that's really something, isn't it?
Yeah, we absolutely strive to provide that professionalism and that service. We're not salespeople. We're there to help people find what they're looking for
Sure.
and save them money.
You know, and I've been in because one of my locations is within your location.
Correct.
Is that I've heard you say, oh no, you need to go here, or you need to go to an electrical supply store. So you're very fair with people.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not usurious. It's just to give people true information so that they make a wise decision, which I think is very important and very
important,
fair.
Richard. Just like yourself.
Sure.
I mean, you help people navigate the quagmire of style
Sure.
and design.
Design, which is always ever changing. And that was actually a good segue for me because I want to talk about what our viewers are hungry for here, and that is what's going on, what's trending. See, lighting has changed a lot, I think a lot in the past couple of years. And there are things that I see trending. I think when you go to buy, there are things that you see seasons ahead trending and so on. So I want to talk about some of the things as a designer that I feel are trending and what you're starting to see. Now, one of the things that I see trending is now lighting fixtures without any glass. And people are asking me if they're going to do a lantern or a pendant, that they're looking for things without glass. Are you finding people are asking for you, or are you buying things that don't have the glass in it anymore? And why is that?
Well, glassless fixtures are very, very popular now. The geometric shapes add a lot of dimension
Oh, it's all
to them.
geometric. Yeah.
It's all geometric. Something that is not that large width-wise, but has depth and density,
Right.
really makes a statement over a table or in the center of a room.
Sure.
We find that the glassless fixtures are much easier to care for.
To clean, right?
You know, throw the Windex away, you don't need it.
Yeah. Probably lighter, right? They're lighter.
Some are heavier, but
Oh, are they?
you know what? Yes, it just depends upon the material that's used to create this
Sure.
art form. But the prevalence of glassless fixtures is pretty vast today,
Yeah. Very
and a lot of companies, most companies have them.
right.
So when you're looking for lighting, I mean, there's many options, and of course size and depth and the actual amount of light that you derive from
Give
a
off.
fixture is extraordinarily important, and that's what we help people.
So a couple of the things that I
Get
see
through.
besides the fact that these open lanterns aren't having the glass as much anymore is that I see a trend towards more of an industrial look, more of a contemporary, more of an industrial look. And one of the things I continually see is the shape of sort of like a cage, things that look like a cage. Are you finding that when you go to buy?
I do. A lot of cageless fixtures. Again, the size would depend upon the environment.
Sure.
The number of lights would depend upon the amount of lighting that is needed in the room.
Right.
And as you know, lighting today should be layered. It shouldn't be from one source.
No, it's foolish to be from one source. Even in a dining room, which I have to sort of educate people to do, because there's not good distribution of the light, which is often very important.
Right.
So, so the cage is another one. The open lantern fixture is a very popular one. To me, what I do all the time in dining rooms is I often take away people's sort of Williamsburg brass chandelier with the 8 candles and the shades on them, take that off and do more of a transitional, still traditional, more of a transitional drum fixture. That is sort of a linen shade, something that has that look. Maybe there are some arms underneath, but they're surrounded by a beautiful shade. Do you feel that that's something that's still continuing to exist and evolve?
Well, people love drum shades today.
Yeah, aren't they great?
They're very, very wonderful. Utilized in different areas, over kitchen islands, kitchen tables.
Dining tables.
They're used, large ones, in foyers. And we're even using drum shades as a semi-flush or flush piece.
Yeah, I've seen that recently, and I really like that. It's very nice. So with the inception of the drum fixture, I think sometimes that allows people that have maybe more of a traditional aesthetic to say, ooh, let's update a little bit. Maybe let's go to something that, I can see myself with the drum fixture because it's transitional, it's not so contemporary. And then I think that gets their mind thinking about sort of changing their lighting or updating their lighting. Lighting can make a place look very dated, don't you think, if it's not the right lighting?
Absolutely.
And it's not a super big investment, but it really pays off with what you do with lighting.
Well, as you know, when someone is staging a house for a resale, the first thing that transition is lighting.
Oh, yes.
Very, very important, because you can just absolutely date a home with the wrong lighting.
About 20% of my business at Maven Hill Designs is staging for realtors. And the first thing that we do change is the lighting, and then of course the paint, but the lighting is first, absolutely, because you really can make a statement with lighting, both exterior and interior, the right proportion, the right colors, the right combinations, and really update a space just with the lighting.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And color, as you mentioned, is very important. So a house, a room will show a lot better, and living in the environment will be a lot more pleasing to the resident with proper lighting, as you know.
Absolutely. You talked about the geometric shapes, and I consistently, in my business now, whether it be fabrics or the look of geometry, of geometric, are very popular right now. And I really like them. They're very sharp looking, these geometric shapes and so on. Also, I see trending a lot is over islands, lots of pendant lights, but pendants used in a lot of places. I've seen pendants used in a bedroom over end tables. I'm seeing the use of pendants. Do you think that's something that's going to trend and continue to trend?
It's going to continue, and it's getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
Especially over a bedside.
Yeah.
You eliminate, when you have a table lamp, it takes up space.
Sure.
And you have all that space.
You can knock it over, right?
Exactly.
The glass of water is in the way.
Exactly, and people are using large pendants on either side of the bed.
We looked at something before we went on camera today, and that was where a bunch of pendants are sort of bunched together as a chandelier. Is that something that you see trending also?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Either with geometric shapes, Richard, or with glass.
Right.
In different shapes, and they're bulking these fixtures.
Right.
The interesting thing is you can get as large a fixture as you want by.
Oh, so you can add on or separate. I didn't realize that.
Exactly. You can get the look you want and the size parameters that you're looking for by just adding and subtracting pendants to this particular piece.
Neat.
Yeah.
Now, what I see happening a lot is I see things going towards clear glass. So where shades were always frosted before, I see a lot of clear glass, not even seated glass anymore, although seated glass is still in style, but clear glass, because they're exposing the bulb. The bulb is becoming stylish.
The bulb is very stylish.
Why is that? Is it just because of that new Edison bulb? I'd like you to tell our viewers also about the look of the Edison bulb. I'm generically saying Edison. I really have to go to you.
That's what we call these bulbs. They're filament bulbs.
Okay.
And the original Edison bulbs were very, very, very hot. Very hot, and they had a very, very limited lifespan. The new LEDs, the new LEDs are both cool, functional, and decorative.
Yeah.
And people are using them. They come in different sizes, different lengths, different widths, and you could get an artistic look. You can get a a industrial look. It just depends upon the look that you want to achieve in your environment with bulbs.
I really love it. You know, it had to grow on me at first. I first saw it and I thought, this doesn't look right. And then I started to see it was its own look, and it was simple, but it was interesting. If you have an Edison bulb because the filament is exposed, I guess this wouldn't affect it. You can still put it on a dimmer?
Yes.
Because the filament color gets this sort of like a cool orange color, but I would imagine you sort of tone it down. Does the color change in the filament bulb?
The color that you're talking about is achieved by the actual color of the glass around the bulb.
Oh, okay.
And you could get the color that you choose. You can get them white, clear white, pure
Right.
white, or you can get them with an amber tone.
Wow.
And some amber tones are much darker, some are lighter. Depends upon the bulb.
That sort of orangey dark amber tone was really, especially if maybe the fixture is black and then you have the clear glass and then you have that sort of tone. It's a really wonderful look.
Yeah, it's a dramatic look.
And you can do it in a lot of different ways. I want to transition a little bit to bulbs because the thing that I'm most confused about, and you and I did a segment on my radio show on WHCR, we did an hour-long segment just on bulbs because people were confused. I remember the panic. It was kind of like, remember Y2K in 1999?
I do.
The next Y2K that came, maybe not as dramatic, was the Y2K because they were going to discontinue incandescent bulbs. And a lot of my clients that had traditional houses went out to the home improvement stores.
Buying hundreds of bulbs.
And with 2 carts, and they were taking every one that ever would be known to man. So that
Exactly.
became sort of a thing. And then it evolved. Although I still think you can get incandescent bulbs. What was the law? Were they not environmentally efficient? What was the story about getting rid of incandescent?
Well, there were 2 transitions, and I'll breach on both. One of them was they were going to eliminate incandescent bulbs by a certain date, and it was a mandate by the government.
Right.
Now, with ceiling fans, they said that any ceiling fan light kit that is sold has to be sold with bulbs. And the bulbs that they included were the CFLs, the squiggly type bulbs,
yeah, those are awful.
which were horrible.
Yeah.
They took a lot of time to light. They started very dim and they got
it
got
took a
brighter.
while. Right.
Exactly. And that evolved into the LEDs. But it's efficiency. It's the amount of energy that's utilized to achieve the amount of light that you want. So the LEDs are the most efficient form of light that's out there today.
Bruce, this is why we have to have our viewers of the show come into your store again and get educated. You probably have the best. What do I call you? I call you my lighting guru.
You call me.
So when I have a
guru,
question, I come to you. We're almost running out of segment time, but I just wanted to share. I'm working on a kitchen now, and we're lighting a kitchen which requires task light. And the couple's very astute, and they came in and spent a lot of time. You spent a lot of time. You didn't charge them for your time, and you don't, to come into your wonderful store and really educated them on the right type of light to do. So why don't you tell just one last time about your location, where it is again, and the website. It's called Flemington Fan and Lighting.
It's Flemington Lighting and Fan, correct? We're at 176 Route 202-31 in Ringgoes. Across from the inspection station.
Almost Flemington.
Very simple.
Right.
Very, very simple. The website again is flemingtonlighting.com.
Wonderful. And your phone number?
908-782-8288. And we do in-house consultations, and we're always there to help people find the correct lighting and help them find what they're looking for, what they're searching for.
Bruce, thank you for being my guest today. We learned so much about lighting, and I look forward to having you again. I've been very pleased with working with Princeton Community Television to bring these wonderful resources to you, and we will do definitely in the new year, we're going to do something again about lighting. We're going to bring some different fixtures into studio. We'll put them up on monitor and tell you what you can do to make your home look absolutely the best that you can do it. Again, for Design for the Times, I'm Richard Scuderi. Have a great day.